This is my Nintendo Switch 2, but it's about to look very different. I'm about to transform my plain Switch 2 into a retro-style atomic purple masterpiece, and I can't wait to show you how. So huge thanks to eXtremeRate for sending over the kit and sponsoring this video. If you grew up with that classic atomic purple Game Boy Color, you're gonna love this. If you didn't know it yet, Switch 2 mods are finally here, and apparently the Switch 2 is more mod friendly than the original. That means this shell swap should be smoother and easier, more fun, fewer headaches. And we will see if that's true. Either way, by the end of this video my Switch 2 is getting a total makeover. Let's get started. But first we need to make sure to clean up this mess. You know, sometimes when you're recording a video, you're still figuring out what kind of video it's even going to be. Like, is this a tutorial, a review, a personal project? Honestly, that's exactly how I felt with this one. You know, when I first saw this kit, I honestly thought it was going to be some mega project, super complex and maybe a bit intimidating. But don't worry, it's not as bad as it looks. So whether you're new to shell swaps or already a pro, this video should help you out and give you the insight that changing the shell of a Switch 2 isn't as bad as it looks without going through a 1-hour tutorial. I will also be dropping a ton of tips and tricks along the way, stuff I wish I would known before I started. And of course, at the end I will share my final thoughts on how it all turned out. As you can see, we would have the plus button, but I'm not sure. I actually want to stay with the normal plus button. Yeah! I think it looks phenomenal. Ah! Who saw that? I saw that! I'm gonna tell ya, this Snoopy doesn't know what he's doing. Oh wow. Perfect, bro, perfect. Not gonna lie, I was positively impressed by the product's quality. I really like that they included both screwdrivers you need for the TearDown, plus a plastic opening tool and even a pair of tweezers. That's fantastic. Alright, after finishing the first Joy-Con, there are already some huge tips I can give. First things first, if you're new to modding and have zero experience opening electronics, go watch the 1-hour tutorial from eXtremeRate. They explain everything really well and in detail. However, if you've got at least some experience and a feel for this kind of stuff, here's the quick version with some solid tips. First and most important part, so listen up. Open every single plastic bag right away. Dump all these parts into a bowl or something where you won't lose anything. Trust me, having all these parts in one place makes it way less overwhelming later on. It feels kinda like doing advanced Lego. To begin the teardown, use the plastic tool to pop open the sides of the Joy-Con, then unscrew the 4 screws, 2 on each side. Always double check which screwdriver tip fits where. Next, use the plastic stick again to separate both outer shell pieces. Be careful to loosen the vibrator connection before it breaks. You can now take the vibrator out and move it to the new shell. He thought we wouldn't see it, well I saw it. And so do you. You can already trash the first original shell piece at this point. Then disconnect the battery and just start unscrewing everything. Basically any screw you see. We want to open up the whole thing, so don't overthink it. Eventually you will be able to remove the middle shell part, the one the battery is glued to. Before removing that, make sure the L2 or R2 button is loose, so you can take the shell off cleanly. Coming to the third huge tip, whenever possible transfer stuff immediately from the torn down shell to the new one. For example, if you see some small pieces that belongs in the same spot, just move it over right away. That way you can get rid of the old shell parts as soon as possible. Now we come to the hardest part, the battery. The glue holding this thing is next level. To remove it safely you will need to separate it from the shell without damaging it. eXtremeRate uses a plastic tool for this, but you might find another method. Just don't stab it with sharp or thin tools, you will probably puncture the battery. Now what I did was very simple. The second shell piece can be trashed. Now disconnect every connector from the motherboard except the analog stick and CL/CR button. Unscrew everything left and lift the main board out. Finally, remove the last small piece and place the two shells side by side so you can mirror where each piece goes when reassembling. Loosen those 4 screws and remove the piece. Careful, there's a spring that can jump out. Once it's out, take the Joy-Con connector out and now we can finally start reassembly. Reassembly is a bit different from most shell swaps. You will need some tape, glue stickers or whatever they call them. It's actually simpler than it looks, especially if you kept everything organized. Grab this plastic piece and take one of those blue lined double-sided tape stickers. Use tweezers if you have to. If your tape didn't come with the blue layer, peel it off from the paper where it was stuck before. It's almost transparent. Stick it onto the plastic part, press it down and line it up on the Joy-Con shell, just like this. Next, grab the 4 tiny rubber pieces, 2 full circles and 2 half circles. Full ones go on the inside, half circles on the outside. Then grab the metallic SL and SR buttons and place them in position, face up. Don't forget the connection button with the rubber pieces underneath. Once that's in, press this piece on top, place the spring with the stick in its spot. And finally screw the last piece down with those 4 screws you removed earlier. Now transfer all the buttons over to the new shell. If you don't want to use the originals and prefer the ones that came with the eXtremeRate kit, go for it. Personally, I like the black buttons better, looks cleaner in my opinion. Once you've decided, put the buttons into the new shell. If your kit is special like mine, then you will have a special D-pad button. Basically, it won't change a thing. It's just if you have buttons, put the right buttons on the right spots. And if you have a D-pad, just use the D-pad. And then at the very end, just put the rubber item on top of it. Now, after placing the rubber pieces over the buttons and checking everything's correctly inserted, place the joystick connection piece on the button shell, then slide the motherboard in. Screw down the 2 joystick screws first, then a few more just to hold everything together. I kind of freestyle this part. If I accidentally use a screw hole that's meant for the middle shell later, I just unscrew it when I get there. Once it's holding together, do a quick button check. If buttons feel too stiff, loosen a few screws. If they're too loose, tighten them up. Then reconnect all the motherboard cables. When everything looks good, start attaching the middle shell piece. Check again that you didn't use any screw holes that belong to it earlier. I recommend only using 1 screw at the bottom for now, then place the L or R button before tightening everything. This makes alignment way easier, because for the L and R button you will need 2 springs. I highly suggest putting them onto the shell, not on the button itself. Lift the middle shell slightly, slide the button in and line everything up. And that's exactly why we kept that 1 screw loose, because we need to put in the L or R button with the middle shell piece together onto the bottom shell, if that makes sense. Once it's aligned, screw everything tight. Before installing CL or CR, make sure to attach the small piece that goes in first with its 2 screws. Then, afterwards, grab the CL or CR button and slide it so the metal spring sits in between. Once it clicks in, you are good. Check that the button clicks properly before moving on. Next, grab these sticky sponge pieces and stick them to the 4 sides where the battery goes, then put the battery back in place. Now grab the pieces that connect to the console mechanism, push the metal bar through and pop it into place. Connect the battery and vibrator, then snap both halves of the shell together until it clicks. Now take that long blue sticker piece, make sure that you place the stickers on the opposite side of the clips. Then press it down firmly, peel the blue part off and make sure the tape stays on the shell. Don't forget to screw the 4 screws, 2 per side, and snap the piece back in so that it sticks tight. To finish, grab those last 2 small glide pieces, put double-sided tape on them and stick them onto the Joy-Con. They help it slide better when used as a mouse. Now coming for the switch to back shell, this part's way easier. Start by sticking the right pieces in place, square sticker, then the 2 longer ones and finally the big cube shaped one. The shell has little guides showing where everything goes. Then add the 2 black stickers on top of the others when that's done. Time for teardown. Use a heat gun to loose the adsive on one side of the switch, then use a small tool to lift and remove the sticky strip. Then repeat that on the other side. Next, remove one screw on top and bottom of each side, which makes 4 screws. Then make sure to get this screw here on top of the console and 2 on the bottom side of the console, and 2 more behind the kickstand. Remove SD card and game cartridge first. Then use the plastic stick with some force to unclip the back shell all around and take it off. Now place both shells side by side and basically copy paste every part over. Unscrew each piece and move it to the new mod shell. Don't forget the power and volume buttons. You can replace some parts from the mod kit, but honestly I think some of the original looks better. Once everything's transferred, I like to give my mod a bit of personality, something unique. For this one I added a Zelda metal emblem. It's a bit thick, so not sure if it fits perfectly, but I would rather try than not. I mean, you don't need to do this, but it gives the mod some soul. When you're ready, put the shell back in place and screw it all together. Be careful with the power and volume buttons. I messed that up the first time but fixed it later luckily. Finally, I added another sticker on top, a purple shell with a sick Zoro sticker from One Piece that matched perfectly. Cut it to fit, stuck it on, and it looked amazing. Super happy with the result. At the very end I fixed the button issue, finally, and stuck the Joy-Con side stickers on the console, plus on the right and minus on the left. And voila, we are done. I am beyond happy with how things turned out. Seeing the Switch 2 in atomic purple with my own custom touches honestly gives me goosebumps of nostalgia and also pride. It is like the classic Game Boy Color vibe reborn on a modern console, and the fact that I have a real D-pad now, I'm so ready to dive into some retro Wait, we need a jailbreak. So was it easy? Well, eXtremeRate actually says this kit is easier than the normal shell swap, and honestly, it's a little bit more overwhelming too. So I think like the actual Switch shell swap was a little bit more difficult because there were like this CR button which you needed to align with the 2 springs and then at the same time click it in. And I think if you don't have the technique right there, then you had like big problems to do this. And I think only because of that it makes it more easy. But what I can say for sure is that I had way more fun than with the regular Switch shell swap. I had a blast doing this. It's really fun and totally worth the time. Trust me, if you love modding, this kit is absolutely amazing. What do you guys think? Would you try modding your Switch or Switch 2 with a kit like this? I mean, do you dig the atomic purple or would you choose a different color? And also, would you add your own personal artwork to your console? Let me know in the comments. I'm super curious what designs or themes you would go for. Maybe you would do a Pokemon theme or a completely different color scheme. Now, I want to give another big shout out to eXtremeRate for sending out this kit and sponsoring the video. They've got a ton of different colors and design available. I had the hardest time picking between atomic purple and some of their other ones. They have things like transparent blues, greens, heck, they have even a glow in the dark shell. If you're feeling inspired to customize your own Switch 2, I'll put the affiliate link down in the description. Also, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, do me a favor, smash that like button and consider subscribing to Better Gaming for more console mods, DIY tech projects and Nintendo Switch 2 content. I've got a lot more videos on the way. Maybe I'll use those spare Joy-Con shells for another mod. So you definitely don't want to miss it. And of course, ring that bell so you get notified when the next video drops. I really appreciate the support. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Now, if you will excuse me, I'm gonna go enjoy this sweet atomic purple Switch 2. Maybe I will fire up some Cyberpunk. Until next time, this is Better Gaming. Don't forget to smile. I hope I'll see you in the next video. Peace.